The last few years have seen the creation of so many video game concerts. Distant Worlds featuring the music of Final Fantasy, Symphony of the Goddesses with the music of The Legend of Zelda, Bethesda Game Studios in concert, Video Games Live, Game Music Festival, and now Assassin's Creed Symphony, a concert that will showcase some of the best loved tracks across 11 games in the AC series in a 2-hour show played by an 80-piece orchestra. Recently, I went and listened in as that orchestra performed its first on-location rehearsal for the tour that will kick off later this year, with one live show in London on October the 5th. I also spoke with the music director of the show, Ivan Lynn, and the show's producer, Massimo Galata, to better understand what it takes to put together a project of this size and scope. Here's what I learned. Ivan Lynn is a classically trained composer, pianist, and producer. He's played at New York's Carnegie Hall and toured worldwide across the United States, Russia, Germany, Norway, and Italy. He's played on behalf of the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, that's UNESCO, won numerous prestigious music awards, and recorded as a pianist for the soundtrack of Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy XIII, and Final Fantasy XV. He's also worked on the Kingdom Hearts series and toured with Nintendo's Legend of Zelda, Symphony of the Goddesses, and Capcom Live. He's very well versed in video game music, essentially. I went to school in Germany and moved to Boston about 10 years ago, and the reason I wanted to move to the US was because I wanted to explore something new, something that I hadn't done before. Lynn told us. After 2 or 3 months, I began getting involved in video game music. We played at concerts first, and I remember at the time we invited some of the video game composers to come, and that's how we got to know them. Then we started working on recording projects and concert projects, and that's how we recorded for Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, and now Assassin's Creed. It's no surprise to see video game concerts and video game music becoming a trend. It's like pop music. It's almost a genre, and it will get there for sure. It's just a matter of time, and right now, we are very close to that time. Despite working on some huge franchises, Lynn hadn't set out to make his career video game focused, and prior to working on Assassin's Creed Symphony, hadn't played all of the AC games. I didn't play all of them, he told us. I started to play Syndicate when it was released, which means I missed a lot of the early stuff. It's a lot to get through. But because I'm from a music background, I saw it as another language with which to express yourself. I didn't play AC2, and please don't blame me because at the time I was a classical pianist. I played a lot of classical music. I didn't know the video game industry then, so I've started to play more in recent years. But I think even if you don't play the game, the music still speaks to you as its own language. So when I produced the music and wrote the concert score, I didn't encounter a massive challenge as to how I'm going to present the music to the audience. It felt quite natural. As the music director for the show, Lynn wrote and arranged the music that's played live, but obviously that's been adapted from the original scores from the games, which have been written by a number of other composers, including Jesper Kyd, Lauren Balfe, Brian Tyler, Austin Wintory, Sarah Schachner, Winifred Phillips, Elitsa Alexandrova, Chris Tilton, Ryan Amon, and The Flight. Putting all these different scores together, doing them justice, and making it all sound cohesive is no easy task. It was a lot of production, said Lynn. I had to go through everything with them. We had conference calls, like 2 weeks ago I had a conference call with Brian Tyler, and he's working on a lot of film projects at the moment. So we sort of wanted to talk in January, and according to the scheduling, we finally made it in April. 3 months. But it was interesting, because you get to see the different styles of those composers writing the music. It's all different. And some of them write music not in a symphonic movement, some of them they did in symphony, some chamber music, some classical, some electronic music. It's a variety of styles. So when we listen to the symphony rehearsal live, you definitely get that blending of different styles. There are traditional instruments from around the world mixed in with grand, sweeping orchestrals and even some electric guitars. But it comes together in a sound that is unmistakably Assassin's Creed. Sometimes it's a medley, sometimes it's sort of merging music together into an organic piece, Lynn explained to us. We seriously didn't want to copy the original soundtrack exactly to a live concert version. That'd be a little too boring. We've got 80 people on stage, so things will sound a little different. We've got a rock band, we've got a choir, we have a symphony orchestra. There are a lot of opportunities and a variety of options that we can put on. The experience of going to a live concert and hearing some of your favourite tracks from your favourite games being played is surprisingly emotional. I've been to Symphony of the Goddesses and Distant Worlds, and the atmosphere is genuinely electric. People cry, people gasp, and get completely wrapped up in the moment. It's beautiful to watch. It's one way that gaming music is different too. Sure, when you listen to a film soundtrack, you remember those moments from the story and you remember the characters. But with games music, you are actually living that moment. You are right there with the character or playing as that character. That's our foundation, Lynn said, and that's the magic of the live concert experience. It's something that your phone screen cannot give you. Lynn also says that the audiences for video game concerts are completely different to other audiences that he and the orchestra play for. They scream all the time, which we enjoy a lot, he said, and people do cry in the concert. We get to see their emotions clearly from the stage. This time I'm conducting, so I won't be able to see the reaction from the audience, but I will hear it. Even when we played this rehearsal today, when we announced the next title, you hear these gasps from the audience. It's a little different from the usual program. When you say, okay, we're gonna play Mozart, usually we don't hear a cheer going up. But the music from Mozart is great. The music from Assassin's Creed is great too. And yet, great music is a great way of bringing people together, regardless of where it came from. We wanted to create and celebrate music from Assassin's Creed that's not just for the franchise, it's for everyone, said Lynn. Even if you didn't play the game, when you come in to see the concert, you won't find it weird listening to the music, because the music on its own is great. You don't need to be a fan of Assassin's Creed to enjoy it. I've done Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy 15 before, and Assassin's Creed is a little different. It literally travels to different places with different cultures. And as you can see, the music from Ezio's Family to Black Flag to Origins to Odyssey, it's all different. You're taken on a journey. That's a sentiment echoed by Massimo Galata, the show's producer who first began promoting and producing concerts in Italy and Europe over 30 years ago. He's worked with global musical talent including Ennio Morricone, Ray Charles, Frank Sinatra, Joe Cocker, Patti LaBelle, and many more. But it was his interest in pairing beautiful music with interesting visuals that led him to working on projects like The Legend of Zelda, Symphony of the Goddesses, and international shows for Distant Worlds, music from Final Fantasy. He says that working on Assassin's Creed Symphony has been different because of AC's historical and real-world components, crossed with its unique style of storytelling. With other video game concerts, Galata explained, it's more about the nostalgia effect, and Assassin's Creed is a little bit different. I think the concept is for everybody. The story, the culture, even the music. It's maybe not complex at first glance, but there is a lot of room to explore and experiment. Because it's multicultural, it's world music. The arrangement that Ivan Lynn made is really cool. It's interesting, it's all these different atmospheres thanks to the full-size orchestra. Galata isn't a gamer, and his introduction to games only came about when his colleagues introduced him to the potential of video game music through the works of Koji Kondo, Nobuo Uematsu, and other auteurs. But now that he's seen the talent that gaming music attracts and the people that it moves, he believes there's so much more to be done when it comes to live experiences. I think people still underestimate the potential of video game music for the general public, for the industry, he told us. But there's a right time for everything, and the potential is there The quality is there, the structure of the melodies is there. So there's a lot of consistency in that and in the composition of video game music. When you see your character on the giant screen with the quality of video and the audience that have been in that moment, with Ezio, with Altair, there's an emotional connection there with the characters and with the other people in the audience. Galata says their goal is to bring more and more live games music shows to global audiences. And Lynn agrees that there's plenty that the music and games industries can teach one another going forward. We've got a huge community in the gaming industry, and I've found that music is a mutual language for everyone, he said. It's one of the best media to connect people. I think to a certain degree, it's not just about the music. It's about people in the community coming together, and that's powerful. What we're doing for this concert is we wanted to connect more people and more communities because, after all, it's a thing that we believe in, and we want to spread the music. Have you attended a live gaming event? What did you think of it? Or if you haven't, what gaming soundtrack would tempt you to experience it for yourself? Let us know in the comments, and if you haven't, subscribe for more gaming videos from Eurogamer. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye!